I'm Matt Pittman, CEO and pitmaster of Meat Church. Throughout my barbecue life, I've been lucky enough to make some amazing relationships with some of the top pitmasters in the world. For this series, I've convinced them to share with you guys some of their best kept secrets. So fire up your pits, it's time to meet the masters. Welcome back to another episode of Meet the Masters. I'm Matt Pittman, founder and CEO of Meat Church Barbecue, and I'm joined by my friend Dayne Weaver of Dayne's Craft Barbecue in Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be back.
So we've got something special for you guys today. We are making Holy Voodoo Sausage. So Dayne has been gracious enough to agree to show you complete end-to-end process on how to make sausage at home. This is normally a 3-day process. You can do it in a day, but Dayne's gonna tell you why taking the time to stretch this out over 3 days will make it better as we go through the process. But I'm very excited about this because he actually did the very first Meet the Masters, which was pork belly brisket.
Yep.
And what's been amazing to me since then has been all the people that are making it. I've even seen it on restaurant menus.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I get tagged on stuff all the time on Instagram. People are making it all over many different states, many different countries. So it's really cool what the span of Meat Church goes worldwide.
Well, he's a Texas Monthly Top 50 Pitmaster. If you don't know what that means, it means his barbecue is insanely good, probably the best you've ever had. He 100%, he and his wife actually make these trays of barbecue that I've never seen a tray more beautiful than his trays. In fact, we featured it on one of our pit stop exercises. We'll put a card up there for you guys to go check that out. But if you've never been to Dayne's, you have to go check it out. This recipe actually is what we were gonna do for our first video. You called me with this idea because you actually used to use Meat Church seasonings. I guess you still do, but you used it before you got in the restaurant business. And this whole thing was your idea in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 5-6 years ago when I was just in the backyard, I was always making brisket, and eventually got into sausage making and everything, but I've always had Meat Church rubs in the cabinet, and it's just been something we still use to this day. And so, yeah, I actually remember sending you a picture of a really ugly brisket back in 2017, and that was, I'm kind of embarrassed of that picture now.
We didn't even know each other.
I was really, really proud.
He shows me his Instagram, and he DM'd me a picture in the summer of 2017 of, I thought the brisket looked good.
Yeah, for sure. But that was a whole year before I started our business or anything like that.
It's crazy.
But
so I did not tell you that you have to put this in this sausage today. This did not come from me.
It just makes perfect sense because we're doing a jalapeno cheddar sausage today, and Holy Voodoo perfectly complements that because it's got a lot of jalapeno flavor and just really good, some paprika to give some good color. So it's perfect for a sausage.
So before we jump in, I'm gonna add one thing. Why Dayne for sausage? When we first met at a barbecue festival, he had a really unique sausage. And in Texas, you can't just make a beef sausage or a pork sausage or a jalapeno cheddar. You have to make some, I'll just say, like crazy artisanal sausage. And there's a lot of guys in Texas that are great at it. It's a big differentiator for barbecue in our state, in my opinion. He makes the most creative, best sausages I've ever had. So I am personally extremely excited about this, and I think it's time to just jump in.
Yeah, let's do it. So first off, we've got to start with our meats. So we're gonna have 4.5 pounds of pork here that we're gonna start with. So let's get this out on the board.
And this is a Prairie Fresh pork butt that we got at the grocery store, and he just cut out 4.5 pounds prior to us starting.
Yeah, just to speed up the process. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get this and cut it into chunks, right? So we want about 1-inch cubes here. So let's just cube it up here. If you make them too big, it's gonna give you some problems with the grinder, and so it's better to always kind of make them into smaller cubes so that the whole process just goes a little better. It's gonna grind cleaner, and you're just gonna get a better product.
Awesome.
Attention to detail is always the name of the game with barbecue and really anything you do.
Especially in Texas. I always say barbecue is a religion in this state, and you guys can't cut any corners. By the way, this is the end of the pork butt with a money muscle on it. Simply just cut one big piece off of it. No additional trim has been done to this whatsoever, but it is what I would consider the good part.
Yeah, so we're gonna go for just, 1.5 inch cubes here. So we'll get all that put in.
So this was brisket trim. If you ever watch our brisket trim video, or if you come to a Meat Church barbecue school, I always talk about trimming your brisket. Like I trim pretty aggressively so that you're left with a piece of meat that you can cook perfectly and kick out the best brisket ever. And people ask, like, what can you do with it? Well, Dayne just brought strips of, I'll just say kind of the outside edge of, or more thin pieces of a brisket. And what would you say that the fat to meat ratio?
I mean, yeah, it's probably 70-30 kind of thing, 80-20 on the beef right there. And so, yeah, it's a great way for you to use the trim off of your briskets. We try to find all kinds of creative ways at the restaurant. Making sausage, we make burgers out of it. So, yeah, it's just being efficient is kind of the name of the game when you're running a business as well. So this helps us out a whole lot.
And if you've never had a burger at Dayne's, you're not living right.
Yeah, they've been pretty popular since we ran them out, and so hopefully one day we'll expand on that brand a little bit. All right, so we got our pork in here. So that's 4.5 pounds of pork. We're gonna add 1 pound of brisket trim here. So that's going in. And then just to add a little bit more fat, we're doing some pure pork fat here. So this pure pork fat you can get from a butcher shop, but you can also, if you've got a pork butt that you want to take that big fat cap off of, this is perfect for it. And
you probably get enough off a pork butt to give you a pound.
Yeah, this could come right off of the cap of the pork butt, and then it's perfect. So this is just a 1/4 pound, so 4 ounces going in.
Awesome.
The next step we got to do is we got to get it seasoned up. One of the first things we need to do is we got to get the cure in here, because sometimes if you put all the other dry seasonings on there, what it's going to do is it's going to kind of inhibit the cure from attaching to the meat. So I always like to do the cure first. So we got 6 grams. We like to do 1 gram per pound. So it makes it really easy. So we got about 6 pounds of meat in here. So we're going to do 6 grams of curing salt. So it's just a pink curing salt here.
By the way, this whole recipe and all these instructions are always below in the description. They link back to the recipes that always live on meatchurch.com, so you don't have to be taking notes today if you don't want to.
All right, so we'll just mix that in just to make sure that none of the other seasonings are blocking the cure from like getting in and doing their thing. So yeah, if we're doing, there's different ways we can do this. We could do it all in a day, and when I started making sausage, I would do it all in a day. But as I learned, there's different ways that you can make the sausage even better, and a 3-day process is best. And this would be the start. This would be day 1.
This is day 1.
So
okay.
We'd be putting
next?
in the rest of the seasoning. So yeah, we're gonna go with
Holy
the most.
Voodoo.
So this is Holy Voodoo. This is a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons.
Love it.
So we're gonna put that in.
Accidentally created a sausage rub.
So yeah, we actually don't even have to add kosher salt or anything like that, because this is gonna give us all of that. So then this is 2 tablespoons of paprika.
I'm like Vanna White. I'm your less good-looking assistant.
3 tablespoons of black pepper. And then we've got 1 tablespoon of chipotle, 1 tablespoon of jalapeno powder.
Oh yeah.
And then a tablespoon of mustard powder.
Okay.
And so yeah, and then basically we're just gonna mix all this up. In an ideal world, if you were wanting to take the long route, you'd want to let this sit overnight after you mix it.
So this step here, you're gonna mix all this by hand, and I'm gonna relate this to making brisket. The best brisket in the world takes longer than most people at home want to do on a weekend. Normally you would let this sit overnight.
Yeah.
But for video purposes, we're gonna move ahead with just this component today.
Yeah, for sure. So the reason you'd want to let this sit overnight, if you could, is just to get that cure all the way penetrated in there, and make sure that when the cure hits that fat, it really helps it grind a little bit more clean, and it just and then the flavor is just a lot more bold when it has time to kind of soak in there and really soak in. So yeah, now we're all seasoned up here, so we're ready to go on to the next step, which is going to be grinding, mixing, and casing up this sausage.
So we're using made with meat equipment. People ask me about this stuff all the time. This gear is basically commercial grade for home use, and you know, I used to buy cheaper grinders, stuffers, things like that, but if you get serious about this sort of thing, then I want to buy stuff that's going to last. So that's what we're using here today. What are we gonna do? Grind this a couple times?
Yeah, so, and we want to talk about the size grinding plate too. What I prefer is a 10 millimeter, so it's the larger grinding plate on there. The reason we want to do that is because it really helps with the texture. If you do, it gives you that kind of coarser texture. We just need to fire this thing up real quick.
Turn it towards, there you go.
And then we're going to grind through twice as well. So we're going to take it through 2 times. So it's going to go through once, and then we'll pass it right back through again. It shouldn't take long at all.
And I know this is loud, but you gave me a good tip prior to starting this. You shouldn't have to use the plunger to push this meat down in unless you're loading it up with too much.
Yeah, for sure. So you just want to feed this thing as it's kind of taking it. You really don't want to cram it in there. If you're cramming it in there, you're putting too much in, or you just need to make smaller chunks. You know, if it's having trouble, you need to just back off and let it kind of do its thing a little bit. So,
man, that's pretty already.
All right.
Look at that.
All right, and then we're actually gonna stop this real quick.
Kill it.
And then we're gonna load it back in here. So we're just gonna run it through one more time, and then that's gonna really, so the second time almost helps with the bind as well, so it's gonna help. It's almost doing some of the mixing for us in that second grind, you know, so we're just gonna, this takes a little longer because it's just kind of more delicate.
All right, the meat's ground up. What's next?
So now we got to mix it. So we're going to add all our ingredients, and if you weren't doing a jalapeno cheddar, you could be doing any other kind of cheese, you could be doing any other kind of pepper. There is a limit to things that you can put in a sausage. We've tested it, and there's definitely a line there. You know, once you start getting too crazy and creative, it'll start pushing back on you, and you'll realize where that line is. So we like to keep it pretty simple, but today we're just going to be adding some Tillamook cheddar that we've diced into 1/4-inch cubes, 4 medium jalapenos. Yeah, you want to take all the seeds out unless you love spicy, and then dice those even smaller than the cheese if you can, just to make sure that's well incorporated. And then we're going to add in milk powder as well. It's a 1/2 cup of milk powder. So that's going to give us a good bind. It's got a lot of proteins in there, and it's going to help bind all the proteins. So,
all right, I'm just going to mix all this up by hand.
All right, yeah, let's do it. So this is going to go in. We got the meat that we ground going in. Got the cheese going in.
Glad you gave me something to do.
And then, yeah, just sprinkle all this powder. Yeah, and then I'll kind of mix it up. So yeah, you don't want to, there's kind of a fine line of how you want to mix it. You don't want to over mix it. So there's a fine line. You want it to be nice and sticky and tacky when you're done with it.
So while you're mixing that up, to our audience, if you like our videos, do us a favor, go down and subscribe. We're not like other YouTube channels. If you look down in the description, we don't have a bunch of affiliate links to make revenue, and we generally don't take sponsorships or videos. Not to say that we would never do it. We've only ever done it once. These videos come out of my passion for teaching you how to cook, and so you subscribing helps us create more of these. We do these out of our own pocket, and just for the love of cooking. So this is actually like my passion in life. At this age, I enjoy making these, and don't consider myself a YouTuber. I'm founder of this company and have a lot of super cool friends that are crazy knowledgeable, that are willing to share their work and their life's work with you guys, frankly. So subscribe for us and do us a favor.
Yeah. So we got all this mixed. Really, you want to get it to a point where it's kind of sticky. You want it to be sticking to your glove or to your hand, whichever you go, but you really want it to be able to kind of stick there. And that's when we know we've got a really good bind. We broke down all those proteins in there, got enough fat. And so now all this is mixed in really good. We're going to go into the stuffer, pop it in there, and then we're going to get to casing it up. So when we put it into the stuffer, we definitely want to try to pack it down in there, because if you leave too many air bubbles, it's going to give us problems when we go to case.
And talk about, you got the casing soaking in warm water.
Yeah, so these are natural hog casings. These are 32 to 35 millimeters in diameter. So yeah, we are dealing with hog intestines here, so they're not all the same.
I think most people don't know that.
Yeah, so these are natural hog casings. They do make synthetic casings as well, which some people use. We don't use them here or at our restaurant. We like to go with natural hog casings, but if you find something at Cabela's that you like, that could work out too. So, but these casings, they get packed with like a lot of salt. That's how you preserve them. So what we want to do before we go is we want to find the end, which we found it here, and we want to get some water in there. So really what we're doing is flushing out any of the salts that may be inside of it from when it was packed. And then so really we're just kind of...
I think we've got the medium horn on the stuffer here for everybody wondering.
Yeah, it's the medium size. I think it's more of just a preference thing and kind of what size casings you're using, and this one works perfect for these. These are just kind of a standard sausage size. So yeah, you're really just going to run it all the way through, run that water through, and then now put that in here. I always like to keep it far away so that when you put it on here, it'll start if it's twisted up, it'll start kind of untwisting itself. So yeah, you want to kind of feed it right onto the horn, and we're just going to pull it back, try to let it untwist if it were twisted.
I have a lot of jokes and things going through my head right now.
Yeah, you gotta be really. It's gotta have that special touch for this part.
This is very rewarding. I find this, when you do this, like we've done it in barbecue school before, casing, cold smoking your own sausage is one of the more rewarding things in barbecue. Plus, it's very creative outlet.
Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons we loved it, is because we could get creative. We've got a jalapeno Havarti sausage that's standard on our menu. We got a margarita pizza sausage. We got a berry Gouda. That was one of our first creative ones that everybody really, really liked. So now we are ready to start. Yeah, let's switch spots.
All right.
And
get to crank your sausage.
So yeah, man, if you'll just crank that down to where you start seeing it's going to kind of put pressure on that meat, and then just kind of slow down a bit, and it'll start to feed itself out of here.
There it is.
All right, yeah, so you'll start seeing the air push out, and so you want to just kind of slowly go. You'll start seeing the air come out. There we go. And we're just going to start turning this into a coil as it goes. All right.
I won't have to go to the gym tonight.
Yeah, I think if those are secured to a table, they're a little more sturdy. So yeah, it's getting real close. We should be done here. There it is. One of the things we want to do once we get here is we want to take care of all these air pockets that are in there. So really you want to just kind of hit it just a little bit. And a lot of people think that this will mess up the sausage, but poking little holes for some reason doesn't do as much damage as you would think, and it's kind of a necessary thing. So when we start casing this, it's going to push all that excess air out of these spots that we did. So now we want to kind of get this, and really typically when I'm doing this, I'll have like a toothpick around, because when we start to case this up, we'll want to pop these little holes as we go along. All right, so this is a special tool that we definitely need.
Special tool.
Yeah. So really you want to just kind of hold real nice and tight here. You want to kind of pinch. You're really just kind of judging, and the more you do it, the more you'll kind of figure out where to pinch. You want just kind of about a half-pound link.
I'll knock a couple of these out and we'll finish them off.
Yeah, so and then we'll just kind of pop these air bubbles as we're going along here.
Okay. All right, so while you're finishing these last few here, so this is day 2, and I know that typically in your restaurant, you like to hang this overnight. So talk about that.
Yeah, so early on, we would just do it all in one day, but we learned that if you hang them, it really helps in a couple different ways. One of the ways that it helps is that it dries out this casing so that when we go in cold smoke and once we get to the final product, it's going to have a really good snap.
It's a mark of a good sausage. All right, so, well, let's add this before we take this to the fridge. A lot of people aren't going to be able to hang these in their fridge.
Yeah.
So going back to what you said, you could do this in a more compacted period of time, but what would you recommend if somebody can't hang it?
Yeah, I just recommend putting these in your fridge. I would keep them attached. So keep them attached because it's gonna do a couple things that's gonna really help. It's gonna help tighten up that sausage. If you were to snip these right now, this casing would kind of loosen up and unravel, and then they might not be as tight and as plump as you'd like them to be.
Okay. All right, let's take them to the fridge.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we've got those sausages in the fridge, so what's next?
So the next step is we got to get some smoke on these. We're gonna do a cold smoke. And when I say cold smoke, we're gonna go about 125 to 175 on an offset like this. You're gonna get some fluctuations in there, but we wanna target 150.
Well, we've got some sausages that we dried out or are in the fridge overnight, and we put them on before we started the video. So they've been in my 94-gallon mill scale offset with post oak for about 2.5 hours. So let's check on them.
Yeah, let's check it out. All right, we're gonna check these out.
Oh, man,
so
got
yeah,
good
these
color.
they look beautiful. So we want to make sure these are 100% cooked. So we're gonna shoot for 155. That's a good temperature to reach at. So we're gonna check these out, and we kind of already checked these out. We know they're kind of right where they need to be. Yeah, so yeah, they're right there in between 153 and 155. So this is perfect. So now what we have to do is we want to shock these in an ice bath, okay? So part of the reason we're doing this is it helps to keep them from overcooking, and that's something you want to be really careful when you're cold smoking too. If these get up into the 160, 170, 180 range, they're going to start wrinkling on you. A lot of that fat's going to start pushing out of the sausage. So there is definitely a sweet spot, and I would say it's in that 150 to 160 range.
So we want to stop the cook process. Let's get those out of there. Let the camera see those things are pretty.
All right, yeah, check these out.
Man,
So
looks awesome.
So these are looking good. Sometimes you'll get some grill marks on there, which some people like. If you don't like them, you can kind of wash it off once they go in here. But let's go in with these. So yeah, they're just gonna go straight in. They're gonna stay in there for a few minutes.
So after that, I know our final step is we've actually got to put the final cook on these.
Yeah, so after you do this, it's a real long process to do it the right way. And like I said, you don't have to do it in this long process. I started out the first couple years of my career making sausage, casing it, smoking it, and serving it all in one day. So you can do that, but if you're like we are competing for the best barbecue in Texas, you know, we have to take all
You want to be a Texas
steps.
Monthly Top 50 barbecue joint, you can take no shortcuts. All right, I'm going to go to the mill scale. I need to run the temperature up to 250 degrees for that final cook, so I'm going to do that, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, we've pulled these out of the ice bath, we've patted them dry, and now it's time for the final cook.
Yeah, so these are gonna go back on. We're gonna roll at like 250, 275, and this is gonna be the final smoke. And this is gonna help continue to dry out that casing and get us this nice crisp casing.
Awesome, well, I've got the mill scale going at the right temp, so let's put these on, and then we'll see you guys back here at 155 degrees internal.
Yep.
We're at the end of the road. Our final cook has been going for about 30 minutes at 250. It's time to eat.
Yeah, let's check these out. All right.
Look at the glisten on those.
So yeah, these have come back up to 155. You could pull these at 130 if you wanted. I like to bring them up to 155 because all that fat gets reinvigorated.
The cool thing, if you guys are watching this video the week that it released, Dayne is actually gonna run this sausage as a special at his barbecue joint on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Dayne's Craft Barbecue in Fort Worth. So I don't know if it's any good yet. Remains to be seen. But
yeah, I think we're gonna have to try it. Let's check them out.
yeah, we're not even gonna wait. Let's just go.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see.
Oh man,
Oh, wow.
dude, snap.
So yeah, nice and cheesy. The vine's really good. These are beautiful,
Man,
beautiful.
those look good.
Yeah, let's slice one up and then give it a try, all right?
I'll leave
Take
that
one of these.
I'll leave that for the camera to see. I mean, you love a brisket slicer. I don't know if people
Yeah.
know, but I've seen you trim raw briskets with a brisket slicer.
Yeah, no, it's my weapon of choice for sure. So yeah, this is kind of how we slice them at the restaurant. So they present really nice like that. We kind of cut them on a bias, and then you can kind of get some good slices out of it here.
Dude, look inside that. Woo, look at this. Look at that, y'all.
Let's try it out. Cheers.
The awkward meat cheers. Dude, the crunch on that case. Good Lord, you're a magician. I always say in these Meet the Masters videos, I give up. I can't make barbecues good, my friends, but I'm all right with that. That is a good, like, Southwestern flavor that the heat's there, but it's not like it's burning you out. That's just, and just the consistency of the cheese, the meat, like, man, this consistency of it is so good.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the Holy Voodoo.
I think
in
it's a good balance.
That's totally balanced sausage. Amazing snap. The flavor's amazing. Man, I can't thank you enough. If you guys have never checked out our Meet the Master series, there's brisket by Truth Barbecue. There's beef ribs by Jerby at Goldie's. There's crawfish with the shed. There's all sorts of brisket videos with Joe Zavala. It's a super cool series that we just kind of add to periodically. I said this in the beginning, but thank you for being willing to come and share your secrets. This is one of the best in the business. If you don't know, now you know now. And so to come here and like tell all these secrets, this is a complete tell-all.
Yeah.
I'm completely indebted to you for doing this, so thank you.
Right. Thank you. Been looking up to you for a long, long time.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You
Yeah.
guys like and subscribe. We talked about subscribing earlier. We drop weekly how-to videos on our YouTube channel. Got lots of cool stuff coming up, but most importantly, go see Dayne at Dayne's Craft Barbecue in Fort Worth. Trust me, you're gonna love it. See you guys next time. Hey guys, well, continuing on from our smoked salsa video last week where we did a wrap up at the end of the video, a spot that'll give us time to add new notes, make changes, just reflect on how the shoot went. This is bonus time where we can throw added tips in. Got a ton of great feedback on that, so we thought, hey, we'll do it again. First and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about this Meet the Masters series and tell you just how cool I think it is. If you don't know, the people in these series are like the best of the best of the best. I mean, you've got Travis Heim showing you how to make his famous bacon burn-ins. You've got Leonard at Truth Barbecue showing you all the secrets on brisket. Obviously, Dayne this week with his jalapeno cheddar sausage. Awesome. Since we shot this video, Dayne went with me to my next barbecue school at TX Whiskey Ranch and had like a 30-minute Q&A, and it was a huge hit because he's so well respected here in Texas. By the way, if you want information on our barbecue schools, you can find that at meatchurch.com. Couple tips, what do we think about since the video? Well, some people that were around the shoot and others have said, well, what if I can't hang the sausage in my refrigerator? Well, just so y'all know, some of the stuff we made that we cased, we put in the refrigerator on a sheet pan, left it just like that, and cooked it the next day, and it was great. So you guys can get the same effect without actually hanging it. Also, we talked about how when you overcook something, a sausage will wrinkle. I'll see that a lot. Well, on shoot day, we took some of the sausage that we had cooked and we put it over in a Traeger at a low temperature and kind of forgot about it for a little bit. And when we pulled it out, the ends of it were already wrinkled. You can go to Meat Church TikTok and you can see we did a little snap video and you can actually see that casing on there. So make sure you don't overcook it, especially beef sausage. It wrinkles even easier. I think that's it. We're gonna start doing giveaways at some point in this section, so please continue to let us know If you like this, we talked about this earlier, but do us a favor and subscribe, hit the notifications, and we'll see y'all next week.